Ah. Ah. Hey, man. We got there.
All right.
The important thing is we got there. There's too many buttons for me to press now. We got
podcast
Twitch.
time.
We're on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're on Audible.
Yeah.
For some reason. It's too many. I gotta record while we also do. There's a lot.
You think this is easy? You come sit in the red and blue chairs and do what we do.
Some other podcast they hire a crew.
Yeah.
Over here, we can't afford that. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wulff Den podcast. I'm Bob. That's Will.
Hey.
We don't introduce ourselves.
Yeah. You know who we are.
You should know who we are. We're the same people every week. A lot of stuff going on, and so much stuff that we're talking about paint today.
Yeah.
But a couple of things we want to address. We've been testing out putting clips on the main channel.
Mm-hmm.
Most people put clips on a second channel.
Yes.
We're putting them on the main channel because YouTube told me to.
So there you go.
So
write your congressman if you have a problem with that.
People have problems.
Yes, I have seen those comments. Yeah.
We are getting comments on the clips video. First of all, the clips video is not doing too hot.
No.
But yes, we're getting comments on them because people's notifications are blowing up because we're posting a lot of clips on this channel. What I would suggest is if you're one of those people that are upset that your notifications are blowing up, you can set the notification to personalized, which will probably just be the live streams, which are the most important ones anyway. Because this podcast will always be a live stream on YouTube.
Yes.
So just do that for now. We're going to continue to do the clips.
Yeah, we're going to experiment with them, like frequency of release, length of clips, things like that. It's something new. Hey, new is good.
Yeah. So also, with that brings a little surprise that we'll have later in the podcast. Half of you probably won't know anything about it, but other half will probably then be happy that we do clips.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're a little late and we got a long show. Yeah. So we gotta just
start ramming through stuff.
We gotta ram through some stuff. First thing we want to ram through is yellow paint.
Yeah.
Also, are we gonna mention that Xbox is doing a thing this week?
I think we'll just mention it off the top right now.
Yeah, we should
get it out of the way. Last week we talked about the rumors and speculation that Microsoft was going to bring its Xbox first-party titles to other platforms, namely PlayStation 5 and Switch. It was so big that Phil Spencer had to come out and say, "We hear you. We're going to make an announcement next week." And this week, they're going to make the announcement on February 15th, so Thursday, after we do the show.
Yeah, so it's
the official Xbox podcast is what they're going to announce it on.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a conference.
No, it's on their podcast.
Oh.
That I didn't know they had.
I didn't know that either. So I guess they're doing that. But the rumors are that they're going to announce, like games for other platforms and stuff. We talked about those rumors last week.
And Pediment are allegedly going to be the first two.
Fuck.
Pediment was an Obsidian game that came out on Xbox. Apparently it's amazing. It's gotten incredible reviews. It looks like parchment paper.
Pediment. How can we forget about Pediment?
Exactly. That's why it's going multi-platform.
I think this was a Guess the Game a few games ago.
Yeah.
Defo did not get it right. We'll also off the top say thank you to DJ Skeletor for gifting 1 billion subs.
Yeah.
Maj and Jameson for the 23 months. Just a pile of note for the 21 months. Thanks for the great content. Thank you for being here. We got T-Bird with 12 months. We got Dante Mira with 54 months. Happy 54 month. Thank you very much. Jin Wong, thank you for the 34 months. Hi, Bob and Will. Hello. We got Underscore. Thanks for the 72 months. We got Professor Clockwork. Thanks for the 12 months. A full year of games and podcasts. Thanks for everything, Wolf Bros. Here's to great content. Well,
thank you.
And Uber Yoshi, thanks for the 4 months. Is this the Nintendo podcast? No. And shut up. I didn't stream on Sunday because it was Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So people are subscribing, I guess. And I'm not going to stream on Thursday.
Ooh.
So
how about that?
I don't know what's going on around here. I'm taking a little time off. Did you see the
I saw the second half of the Super Bowl because the first half was trying to put the kids to bed.
I was actually interested.
Yeah.
Because of the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce situation.
It made it a little bit more interesting. I will say, like...
Also, every time Taylor Swift came on screen, I had to go, Hannah! And look, there she is.
I will say, like, the second half of the game was very exciting. Like, in terms of, like...
Yeah, because they were down. I was like, they're fucked. This is going to suck for them.
And Taylor Swift's like, they're good. Oh, no, they could get out. Oh, it's halftime now. Ooh.
Yeah, and then they came back.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
So good on them.
Part of me wanted the Chiefs to lose just because I was like, Taylor Swift's got it too good right now. No one person should have it that good.
Yeah.
But then they did this crazy comeback, and you gotta ask, how is that not scripted?
Yeah.
It was just too perfect.
Yeah. I have several friends who truly believe that it is like rigged. So I don't want to get too into the weeds here.
It was just too perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all a ploy to get your COVID vaccine.
Yes.
So let's talk about the fucking yellow paint now.
All right.
The newest Gamergate, yellow paint.
The new old one, because it's been around for a while. Last week, thanks to the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo, some old video game discourse returned and overtook social media. The use of yellow paint to mark certain in-game objects or ledges. All it took was a now viral tweet of Cloud climbing some yellow rocks in the new demo and a comment about how yellow paint was a virus, and bam, the debate is raging all over again.
Like, I didn't know that's what started it.
Yeah, like a comet returning for another scheduled pass by Earth, the yellow paint topic has once again predictably appeared, leading to endless takes, jokes, threads, opinions, and arguments. Why is this topic so incredibly capable of sucking in everyone around it for days or weeks on end? Well, it's not really because of the paint, but everything the yellow splotches represent.
So when I think of yellow paint in video games and when I Google it, the only thing that comes up is Resident Evil 4.
That was, I think, the most recent example of like the most egregious use of it.
There's a lot of it.
And
it does kind of hold your hand.
So I know from a personal perspective, my first experience with yellow paint syndrome, as it were, was the Tomb Raider reboot.
Yes.
Okay. It was white paint though.
Yes.
But it was used to demark where you can like shimmy up a wall and things like that.
Yeah. So the paint is representative of where you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
In the original Resident Evil 4, there was no yellow paint.
Correct.
Because it was very obvious what you're supposed to interact with.
Mm-hmm.
Because back then, backgrounds looked like a different saturation and resolution than objects that you could interact with.
Yeah.
So they clearly stood out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just an artifact of the technology.
Yeah.
These days, things look a lot better. So instead of... I guess they could... In Resident Evil 4 specifically, I guess they couldn't really design around it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are remaking a game.
Yeah.
So the solution to that was to just put a yellow mark on it.
I know.
And I'm not that upset by that.
No. If you scroll down a little bit, there's an example. There's a tweet. Somebody, the yellow paint is so unnecessary. Obviously, a ladder is climbable. Obviously, a crate is breakable. Why did they do this? There are some games. I don't remember Resident Evil 4 specifically, but I know there are some games where some ladders are not climbable.
Dude, I'm playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Right now. Warzone.
Mm-hmm.
Fast-paced, high-octane battle royale.
Yeah.
And you know how in Call of Duty you can open a door?
Yeah.
Or you could bust through the door?
Mm-hmm.
Always busting through doors.
Yeah,
because you got to go fast.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many doors you just cannot.
Yeah.
And there's no indication or anything that you cannot get into the door. So I'll be in the middle of a gunfight and I'll bust into a door that you can't bust into, and then I'm dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand, at least from Resident Evil's perspective, why you would need yellow paint. Because again, it's a remake of a game that doesn't have that sort of artifact anymore. They needed to replace the artifact. The most recent I guess I don't play a lot of AAA games anymore.
Yeah.
But the most recent example of yellow paint syndrome was the VR version of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying that Horizon Zero Dawn has a similar thing. The VR version has white paint, and it was very egregious. And it didn't fit within the world. There was just paint everywhere, and it made the game feel more linear than it was, and was a little too handholdy.
Right.
You know.
I remember, I think it was Uncharted Golden Abyss on the PS Vita actually did yellow paint for like grabbable ledges and stuff, even though the PS3 games at the time didn't really follow those same steps.
No.
But on the Vita, that was done because you could also touch the screen to grab the ledges. So it was like an indicator of where to put your finger on how, like, where Nathan Drake should go. That's
also a Vita game.
Yes.
You know? So like back then, I kind of understand having indications for having a linear path, especially it's a fucking, not only is it an old game, it's a mobile game.
Yeah.
So you don't have a lot of room to design around that. The Last of Us, I think, doesn't have yellow paint, but I think it cleverly colors things yellow that you can interact with. They're like different shades of yellow, but they fit within the world. So they it's like a sort of subconscious way for things to stand out. And I think some of the best games are the ones that guide you towards the places that you're supposed to be going and the things that you're supposed to be touching.
But to counter that argument, there are instances where sometimes it's not obvious what a player is supposed to be doing or should be going.
Right.
There's actually a really famous example of Bulletstorm. When the developers were making Bulletstorm, you know, that's a high octane shooting game. Everything's blowing up left and right. You're killing things left and right. They had exploding barrels in the game. But when they were play testing it, the barrels just looked like regular barrels. Nobody was shooting at them to blow things up. They had to change the color of the barrels to bright red.
Yeah, they have to be red.
So that people know, oh, those are exploding barrels.
Yes.
So
barrels have to be red.
Barrels
if you can explode them, they got to be red.
Yeah. But, you know, that leads to there are certain instances where color coding certain things in the game have to happen if that's a way for the developers to guide the players to certain things.
Yes. My argument is that I think it should be within world. I think that again, the yellow paint is the example that everybody's calling it, the yellow paint syndrome.
Yeah.
In the example of Resident Evil 4, I think it had to be done, or there had to be some sort of indication of what to do because it's a remake of a game that had a different thing in it.
Yeah.
It was a different way to indicate what you're supposed to do. I think that it could be many different things. I think it could be like if there's a bunch of doors and only one of them you can go through, it can be a different color.
Yeah.
It just make it fit within the world. Like, for example, The Last of Us, where things are like a little yellow. They still look like they're within the world, but for some reason you subconsciously are like, I want to go there. It's not as egregious as just a splash of paint.
Or like
all these freaking people in the world, all the zombies in Resident Evil are just painting things that you're supposed to go to.
I'm playing Uncharted Lost Legacy right now, and a lot of the doors that you can't go through are actually like fenced off or boarded up.
Yeah.
You know, easily indicating you can't go through there.
Yeah, I think Naughty Dog is really good at the set dressing and making things look within world, but also like I obviously can't go.
It does come down to like an art direction thing.
Yeah,
but I don't necessarily think that explicitly highlighting like what's climbable or where you need to go is a problem. That's more of an accessibility thing, like to help gamers who maybe aren't as like obvious, like, or in tune to like what's obvious in the game world. Because I'll tell you, I've played many games where I'm just running around a room trying to figure out where to go. And if there had been a nice bright piece of yellow paint to tell me go that way, I would have known to have gone that way.
I definitely like to have my hand held a little bit. I think in Prince of Persia, the new one, there's right in the beginning of the game, they say, do you want us to tell you on the map where the next objective is? And I was like, abso-fucking-lutely. Because you can say no and then play it like more like a traditional Metroid game. But I was like, no, I want you to tell me where to go immediately. I don't like trying to figure out where I'm going. That being said, I do think it's a little bit of a dance between art direction and game design, where they have to kind of, meet together. Yeah. Because the game designer has to be like, we want them to go this way. How do we get them to go this way? Because you can do like a Nintendo thing where you're like kind of just gently push people in the right direction, What was I going to say? I think there are examples of games where it's fine. And like it makes total sense to like have just a color, or even an arrow, like in Forza, they just literally it's an arrow on the ground. Follow the arrow. Mirror's Edge is a great example.
Yeah,
everything was just red.
Yeah,
but that felt like an arcade game, like I wanted to touch the red stuff, it didn't feel like a real world situation.
Another example that was brought up is in Dead Space, the original Dead Space.
Okay.
They were saying how they were trying to like subtly hint that in order to defeat the necromorphs, you have to cut off their limbs. But during play testing, people are automatically just preconditioned to do headshots. And that doesn't take down the necromorphs. That makes it much harder. So they actually had to scribble on the walls in the game in blood, cut off their limbs. They did that like a few times in the beginning of the game until like you got it drilled into your head. Oh, I'm supposed to cut off their limbs. Like that's an extreme case where you literally have to spell it out for the player. But I think by the same time, by having it look like it was like written by some dude like in his own blood, like writing it on the wall, sort of added to like the horror element of that particular game.
And you're kind of discovering it within the world. You're the guy who just discovered this beast for the first time, and you don't know how to kill it.
Yeah.
And then you see on the wall a previous guy left you a message, cut off their okay, I gotta cut off their limbs.
Yeah.
In Destiny, there's a bunch of different types of enemies, and one of them is the Vex, I think. They're robots. And they have a very clear white like Iron Man sort of thing on their chest. Like a big bright white light.
Yeah.
And when I first play the game, you shoot them in the chest and it explodes like it's a headshot.
Yeah.
Like headshots on other enemies makes their head just pop off. So with this specific enemy, you have to shoot them in the chest. Some of my friends didn't know that and didn't realize that. They were still aiming for the head, even though they had a big white thing on their chest. So I think that's an example of art direction showing you that's the thing you're supposed to hit.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's not taking, and maybe it needs to be explained. Maybe that game needed blood written on the wall, shoot their chest.
I think, honestly, a lot of the anti-yellow paint sentiment that's going on is because, it is obviously a way to like help people play the game if like something's not obvious to them. And I think a lot of that comes down to people who like love their really super hard games, like your Elden Rings and your Dark Souls, and like, I can beat every Halo on Legendary in a day or whatever, like the super hardcore games, feeling like games are too easy now, too many babies are playing games, there's not they don't make games for real big tough manly men anymore who can like beat Tony Hawk's Pro Skater with a Guitar Hero controller, and people like that. You know what I mean? Like it's a pride thing. It's like if a game is difficult and I can beat it, that means I'm better than you, rather than games just being fun and like letting anybody have access to them.
So I like hard games.
Yeah.
I complain about games a lot because I really value the user experience. I want the game to hold my hand a little bit, but not be like too explicit about it. I don't want them to jump down my throat. I think it's got to be a certain type of difficulty, like a game that just beats the shit out of you and doesn't explain anything about how to play it is a problem. I like games that you figure it out, and it makes you feel smart.
There's a difference between like, there's nothing wrong with like playing a good hard game, but there's a difference between like good difficulty and bad difficulty. I played the demo of Ghost Runner 2 recently, and it was difficult, but I was really enjoying it because it was like a Katana Zero thing where like you're doing your run, but like you keep getting hurt, but like you were learning as you're going until you get to the motorcycle section and you have to barrel through a tube at supersonic speed, avoiding all the obstacles, and the controls are so loose that like you can't like get good traction in the tube, so you're flipping all over and crashing into the walls. That's bad difficulty. Game sucks. Where's my camera? Game sucks. Don't play it.
I had a similar experience with the first Ghost Runner. People liked it, but I did not like it.
Did the first one have a motorcycle in it?
No.
Then I might like it more.
No, it just controlled really weird. Like I didn't like the way it felt.
Because I like the controls of Ghost Runner 2 up until the motorcycle.
I a good example is also Mario Maker. Like I don't like the levels where, like the Kaizo levels where or people call them Kaizo levels, where you just like you just get killed out of nowhere. Like you'll hit you'll go to jump over a gap and you'll hit a invisible block and die, and you'll do that over and over again until you finally figure out where not to jump and stuff. And that's bad design. I don't think that's a good difficulty. A good difficulty is when you know what you're not supposed to do and it's just really hard to not do it. Yeah, like the deaths have to feel like they're your fault, not the game's fault.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we're not talking about dying. We're talking about games that are holding your hand through what to do and where to go.
I think, pardon the pun, but it goes hand in hand,
Yeah, some people enjoy exploring the world and figuring it out. I do if the world is really enticing and there's a lot to do in the world, but for the most part, I just want to play through the main quest and get through the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think Resident Evil 4 is the type of game where you need to do a lot of exploring,
No. They try, they added exploring elements in the remake, but it's not really that type of game.
Yeah, and a lot of the games where you're going to be seeing yellow paint or white paint, it's going to be games where you're not really supposed to be exploring too much. It's a linear experience. Mm-hmm. But I think the paint is a last resort. I think that there's a lot of other ways through art direction and game design where you could gently push people in the right direction of where they're supposed to go. And we talk about Naughty Dog a lot. Naughty Dog, I think, does a really good job. And then other games too.
Yeah.
I can't think of any off the top of my head. I think Arkham games probably do a good job of it.
Well, the Arkham games are more open worlds. So, there's actually an arrow, pointing you, where the objective marker is.
That's a good point.
But yeah,
the first one wasn't really.
Not so much, no. Yeah. But, the level design of it, they lay it all out, for you to see. They give you certain cues, vents look a certain way, and, grapple points look a certain way, and gargoyles look a certain way, and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and then Griffinix says, and detective mode. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Arkham was a bad example.
Yeah.
Because Arkham really just tells you exactly what you need to do.
Yeah. And then every game started adding detective mode to it. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Around that time, every game had a button you pressed, and then it literally just everything that you needed to do lit up.
You walked in on me playing Tomb Raider once, and it was I forgot what they called it, and you said, if this game fucking has Tomb Raider vision.
It's so stupid.
It is.
That's dumb.
It was.
That's worse than yellow paint.
Look, I love the Tomb Raider reboot, but yeah, Tomb Raider vision was not.
In Batman, it makes sense because he's fucking Batman and he needs technology.
Yeah.
In Assassin's Creed, I understand it a little bit because these guys are mystical beings that have some sort of special powers.
They also have it in the Hitman games. I guess. They also have it in fucking The Last of Us. Where it's not detective vision. It's it's like that they do in the Hitman. You sit and you listen.
It's detective vision.
Yeah.
It's detective vision.
Yeah.
In Tomb Raider, it just didn't make any goddamn sense. In The Last of Us, I kind of
The Last of Us
is on the line. It's almost
The Last
stupid.
of Us and Hitman, to their credit, they bend it in a way that makes sense for that universe. It's not just hit a button and then the world goes blue and everybody's skeleton is highlighted. It looks like he's listening carefully to what's going on.
Yeah, and in the Last of Us, it's like that too. It makes it seem like he's listening.
Yeah,
I guess it's just all of the art direction around it. There's things are pulsating and stuff. You can clearly tell that he's listening, but in Tomb Raider, it's literally it's fucking Tomb vision.
Yeah,
that's a weird game design loophole. Anyway, I don't think there's anything wrong with holding the viewer's hand. It just needs there's a little dance you have to do.
Yeah,
with the game design. It takes a certain type of game for that to make sense and for that to work out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna immediately throw a game out if it's got fucking yellow paint in it.
Same.
Anyway,
even if it does make the art, even if it does clash with the art direction,
I'll just be that's a little stupid if it clashes with the art direction, similar to how I was with the Tomb Raider stupid.
Keep in mind though, we come from a generation where most games all you had to do was go to the right.
Yeah.
So
I do remember being upset about it with the Horizon VR game, but I think I just didn't like the Horizon VR game. I think it was just a stupid game. That was I didn't like it because the whole game was so linear, and then also it had the white paint, and it's you can't even go anywhere if you wanted to anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we got more notifications. I don't remember where I left off. Uber Yoshi? Okay, so we got N64 Boss, thank you for gifting a sub. And Cat Cub, thank you for the Prime. And Kata Koe, thank you for the 6 months. Oh, God. How are you guys? I'm great. How are you?
Super. Thanks for asking.
Twilight Princess has a sort of detective vision thing.
Does it?
I don't know.
That predates Arkham.
I mean, I'm sure other things had it before that. But Arkham, when Arkham did it, every other third-person action game put it in the game.
Yeah. Like, Metal Gear had not Metal Gear. Splinter Cell had the night vision goggles. But that was single-purpose night vision goggles. Detective Vision explicitly highlighted things in the environment, your enemies, collectibles, things like that.
The night vision goggles felt in world.
Yeah,
they're part of Sam Fisher's design, and it's synonymous with Splinter Cell. So that I understood that. I was fine with that. Oh God. Okay. Next news. What do we got?
I don't even know.
Oh, we're doing we talked about the Xbox podcast.
Yes. Real quick, follow up on the Xbox podcast. Thing. With the rumors and speculation that Microsoft is going third party, what does this mean for actual Xboxes? Well, according to journalist Shannon Liao, Microsoft's head of gaming Phil Spencer told employees that Xbox currently has no plans to stop making consoles, and that Xbox consoles will continue to be a part of its strategy, which involves multiple kinds of devices. So rest easy, all you Xbots out there. As of right now, they will still release and support Xbox systems. It's not going to really change anything, which I think is good because there are certain features and values that the Xbox does offer that are different from other platforms. Namely, their online capability, their their storefront, their handling of digital assets that you purchase.
I think Xbox has the best user experience as a piece of hardware out of every console that's currently out, if you don't count the Steam Deck.
Right.
I think the Steam Deck is up there with the Xbox.
Yeah.
They do a lot of things better than every other console manufacturer does. It's just a shame they have a lot less of the value that every other console manufacturer has. Even though they have Game Pass, still, if you're comparing purely games, it might be worth it against something else.
Because on Xbox, cloud save storage is free.
It's free and it's seamless. It's completely seamless.
On PlayStation, you have to subscribe to PlayStation Plus in order to access your cloud saves. And you have it doesn't just go to your console. You have to download it to your console. And if your subscription lapsed, like mine has, guess what? You don't get your PS4 game saves anymore unless you turn on your PS4, copy it to a thumb drive, and bring it to your PS5.
I have never thought about my purchases or my saves on my Xbox.
Yeah.
And I've had multiple Xbox series.
Yeah.
And I have never once been like, oh, did my cloud save sync? Mm-hmm. Never once. And I've also played Game Pass through different devices, and my fucking cloud save, even if I own the game physically, the cloud save still works through Game Pass and everything.
So there are still benefits to owning an Xbox over a PlayStation.
Also the remote play is better than PlayStation's remote play. The way that the Xbox enters sleep mode is better than the way the PlayStation does. The energy efficiency is way better. There's so many things that I like more about the Xbox.
Yeah.
I think it even does technically it has a higher resolution at 120 hertz. I think that PlayStation does a weird thing with 4K 120 and Xbox does not.
I mean,
something weird like that.
And to be fair and balanced, yes, the PlayStation does have advantages over the Xbox. Namely, you can use games, the first party games. You can use any off the shelf SSD to expand your storage rather than having to buy a stupid proprietary memory card.
And it's very easy to do.
Yes. The DualSense controller is an incredible piece of tech. I think I might actually like it more than an Xbox controller, which is weird for me because those are my favorite controllers. I found it really comfortable. I like the triggers and the motion capabilities of it. The speaker does not sound like butt. Finally, you think that's a stupid thing, but that actually really impresses me.
There's a lot that I don't like about the PlayStation controller.
Really?
I recently found out it's a higher polling rate, which means it's faster. It has less input lag. And I tried to like it over the Xbox controller because it's so much slower than an Xbox controller. But first of all, you don't notice the polling rate difference. Second of
Yeah.
all, it's just Xbox controller is so much more comfortable. Also, what I hate about the PlayStation controller, every time I fucking plug it into something that's not a PlayStation, all my audio devices change to the controller. It thinks the controller is a speaker and a microphone. Fucking hate that.
Yeah.
But that's different. Xbox controller just works great with everything.
Yeah.
I got a lot of picadillos about PlayStation 5, and I do like the Xbox series a lot. But I still think Microsoft is probably focusing less on selling hardware, but I do think that they will continue to sell hardware.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he just said it himself.
Yeah.
But the chat's saying that this is a rumor. This has not been confirmed. It's according to journalist Shannon Liao.
Yes.
So
that is from an internal memo sent to Microsoft employee. That is from what Phil Spencer himself said to Microsoft employees.
Yeah.
So,
but the big thing is the games. They need to get some games that people want. That's the only way that they're gonna sell systems.
I mean, really, like, it sucks because we're not gonna know until Thursday, and we're not gonna be able to cover it until Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
We'll see. Anyway, any notifications? No. We're gonna do a very special thing.
Do it.
How about we do that? You guys have no idea.
No.
Backlog!
Oh,
Backlog! Backlog! Yeah. So
it's back,
we're
motherfuckers.
all right. We decided we're doing it again.
Yes.
We've gotten this request a lot. We used to have a show on the main Wulff Den channel called The Backlog.
Yes.
And people have been wanting it to come back, and we're always like, no, shut the hell up. And some people have suggested doing it on the podcast. And I've always said, no, shut the hell up. But now if we're going to do clips, might as well.
Again, we're trying new things here. This is one of the new things. So if you don't know how this works,
how does it work, Will?
Basically, for our whole lives, we put every game we've ever owned. We catalog it in an Excel spreadsheet. Even now that we live separately and we buy our own games, we don't share our games anymore.
I got to add games to this list.
Yeah, I got to add games too. I got to redo it. But anyway, our entire video game library, 30 years, over 30, close to 40 years of video game history.
God help us.
On a Google Doc Excel sheet. And we are going to pick one at random.
Yes.
And talk about it regardless of whether or not we actually have played it.
Yes. So this is our collective collection of games.
Yes.
That we've had because we're brothers and we used to live together.
Yes.
We shared everything. And we got a huge list of games. What is the number that we're at now? Which, again, we need to add games to this.
Yes.
I haven't touched this list since the last time we did the backlog.
I try to keep it updated as much as possible, at least in my end. Oh, fuck. As of right now, I got to, go through it. I got to prune it. I got to take games out and whatnot. As of right now, 908.
Okay. All right. And that's without that's barely any of my Switch games.
Right.
and all my Steam Deck
Steam
stuff.
games, yeah.
Yeah. 908?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will pick a random number. That is 325.
325. Okay. What are we working with here? 3, 2, 5. Duck Game for the Nintendo Switch.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
It's Duck Game.
One person will be extremely happy.
This is you, because I actually have not played Duck Game.
You've never played Duck Game?
I've never played Duck Game.
Duck Game?
I know you talk about it a lot.
Duck Game kind of fucking slaps, dude. It's a little old by now. You can get it on Steam. So if you're not playing the Switch anymore, like I'm not, get it on Steam. It'll probably be cheaper and easier to play with your friends on Steam.
Right.
Duck Game is essentially Smash Brothers
with ducks.
With ducks and guns and various weapons that you pick up and use throughout the level. I think each level has different types of weapons. Think of the weapons like they would be in GoldenEye or Halo, where you procure them in the level. But it's a 2D game like Smash Brothers. You're on a level that's floating in space,
right? And
you got to knock the other guy off the level or kill them by shooting them in the face,
right?
And there's barely any health. You shoot a guy once and he's fucking dead.
Yeah.
And the levels are super quick. You load into the level, you just blow each other up, and then the level's over and you go to the next level. And it's like a gauntlet. You go through like I think 12 different levels or something until it's until the one who has the most wins between the levels wins the whole thing. And there's silly little like hats you can get if you play the game a lot. You can unlock certain things, and the whole thing's silly and stupid. There's only 2 buttons. Actually, there's 3 buttons. There's jump, there's shoot, and there's quack. There's a quack button. You can play dead. You can just hold down on the D-pad and you can lay down, and people like to lay down and quack. You can go quack, 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 quack. It's awesome.
Nice.
I played this a decent amount with my stream. Because you can just have like open up the lobby and play with. I think it's up to. Last time I checked, it was 4 players. It might be more now.
So it says online multiplayer, LAN PvP, 8 players. Okay. 2 to 8 players plus 4 spectators in either local multiplayer couch combat or online play.
So on Steam, it is $12.99.
Yeah.
And then there's a 4-pack with $40. Includes 4 copies of Duck Game. Okay, so for $40, you can give it to your friends. I'm realizing now we got to start like playing the trailers and stuff on the screen, or else no one's going to be able to see it.
I'd see that it's published by Adult Swim Games. I always forget that Adult Swim like has a video game publishing arm, and they've made some wacky ass shit over the years. Duck Game, various Rick and Morty games. Surgeon Simulator is like a popular one.
They did Surgeon Simulator? I didn't know
that was them.
Yeah, so God, that's going to keep playing for people. Stop playing the music. No, Duck Game's great. It's cheap. Maybe put it on your wish list on Steam if you want it on Steam. I'm sure it'll be on sale any minute now.
Yeah.
This is a great game to just play with a bunch of people. There, even couch co-op. Plug a bunch hook up a bunch of controllers to your Steam Deck or whatever, or even on Switch, you could play with just one sideways Joy-Con.
There you go.
And have a fine time. It's a fun little romp. It's maybe easier to wrap your head around than Smash Brothers if you want to play with people who like don't play a lot of video games. And it's good for like a good little like 30-minute romp with your friends.
Cool.
I like it.
There you go.
There you go. Guys, thanks for joining us on the backlog. This is what you could expect from the backlog. It's gonna be it's gonna be a lot of wacky stuff. Sometimes some popular games.
Yeah, sometimes some popular games, sometimes some weird ass shit. And sometimes just us trying to figure out why we bought a game in the first place.
Yeah, so I don't think I bought this. I might have gotten a code for it, but this came out on the Switch when there wasn't a lot of games on the Switch.
Right.
So it was very early.
2015 was the Steam release.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that old. That was before the Switch. I played it on Switch.
Right.
So when was it out on Switch? 2019. Okay, that's not that early.
Yeah.
May 2019. I'm pretty sure I got a code for it, but I think I was sucked into the marketing because it's funny. It's a funny game.
Right.
Especially with the quack button. So it's great. Thanks, guys, for watching the backlog. If you want more, subscribe to the Wulff Den Podcast YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. And we'll probably have a playlist of every backlog ever. If you don't know what the backlog is.
If you want to watch the backlog of the backlog,
you can dive into your own backlog. Yeah. We'll update the list and have some more games on there. But goodbye.
Bye.
Don't leave. No, if you're watching the podcast, don't
stay
leave.
Here if you just watch the backlog clip. Goodbye.
We'll get better at this. All right. Anyway, who are you? All right. Let's talk about some notifications. We got Ethel. Thanks for the 52 months. He says, "What?" Because of the backlog.
Right.
All right. Well, let's talk about IGN taking over E3.
February 13th, that's today. IGN has announced it will host IGN Live, an in-person 3-day fan event in Los Angeles this summer featuring gaming and entertainment creators, developers, publishers, and enthusiasts. The event will take place in early June, and while official exhibitors are expected to be announced in the coming weeks, for now it promises to include world-class talent, parties, networking opportunities, and unique attractions from a curated list of leading exhibitors across gaming and entertainment. It will include live IGN shows, tournament, first look, at new releases and panels featuring headliners from games, television, movies, and more. A portion of ticket sales will go to charity via the Humble Bundle. IGN Live will serve as one component of IGN's annual Summer of Gaming event, which has been running in digital formats since 2020 and has historically included a number of gaming announcements, celebrity appearances, interviews, and other presentations. In addition to in-person event, IGN Live will also stream its presentations over console, mobile apps, and on IGN channels.
I was wondering when they were going to do this. Like, I figured when E3 was going under, IGN would be the ones to step up, you know?
Yeah.
And I was surprised that Jeff Keighley did his thing instead. The summer of
I'm not surprised Jeff
Fest.
like did it because he's got the Game Awards. He's basically become like the de facto like representative of all video games somehow.
I mean, in my mind, he was number 2.
Right.
Number 1, I thought would be IGN.
Right.
Because they just have such an in with the whole games industry.
Whole games industry, and their reach too, I feel like, is much bigger than Jeff on his own.
Right.
But now it seems like IGN is finally like, we'll do it.
So Summer Games Fest is still also happening though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This just sounds like it's going to be another one. They don't specifically say this is their answer to E3, but everything that they're saying about what the show is sounds like it's going to be E3. Because like E3, let us not forget, is supposed to be an industry-only event that was not just for showing off games, but also about connecting with other developers and the press and like store owners, and also like, you know, talking to developers and trying to get a job in the industry. That's what it actually was about.
This doesn't sound like an industry-only thing.
No, it's explicitly not going to be industry-only.
Right.
I saw somewhere somebody said that like one of the big problems with E3, especially in the later years, was the split between like it being a fan event and it being an industry event.
Yeah, we all agree on that.
And that's something that they wanted to address with this, like do a better version of that.
I think Summer Games Fest, the actual event, is industry only.
Right.
Yeah. But you know, they had some big things there. They had Sonic Superstars and stuff, but it wasn't like that crazy compared to E3. I don't think we're gonna have as big names as we did at E3, even at something like IGN Live. I think we'll have some big stuff, but it's not gonna. You're not gonna see like
it's not gonna be like
PlayStation announcing any of their big stuff there.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think they've learned that we could just do it ourselves.
Yeah, and they have been doing it themselves. Yeah.
We don't need to pretend to support other people.
Yeah.
They did something last year. Well, the Summer of Gaming. But it was like weeks, right? Summer of Gaming. They announced a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I remember in particular, like the Nitro deck thing was announced there. The Razer Kitsune was announced there. I don't know what else. Those are the things that I was interested in.
Well, the big thing about this is it's specifically going to be in person.
Right.
That's the thing where like there's going to be one place where everybody gets together to see these games and to talk to people and like hang out and like watch this stuff. I get the appeal of an in-person event like this. Obviously, they're going to like stream it on like their website and on other platforms. But I just feel like the thing that gets most people excited about E3 was like the stuff you watched at home, not necessarily like the stuff on the show floor.
Yeah, but you know what? IGN ran a lot of that.
True.
Like after G4, I was like, okay, I'll turn off the TV and turn on my computer to IGN to watch E3, you know? And I did that for years.
Yeah.
Until Jeff Keighley started doing stuff.
Yeah.
And then I would watch him. But yeah, I mean, IGN's doing this because they have the most to gain. This is all eyes on IGN for a week or however long they're doing it for. Which is why I think like the big publishers, they'd have to do something to incentivize them to announce big stuff there, because they'd be doing IGN a huge favor by announcing stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I like that other people are doing big events, trying to have some sort of replacement for E3.
I get like
I'm glad that we're moving on from E3.
Yes,
really.
The idea of like one time of the year where like all gaming gets together and announces their like lineup for the next year and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like has never lost its appeal.
Mm-hmm.
I think E3 specifically, the way they were doing things was losing its luster over the years until finally COVID took it out back and shot it.
Yes.
So, well, you took it out back. COVID shot it.
I'm the reason. I'm the fucking reason we got rid of that shit. All right.
But it's not just IGN bringing back E3.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, apparently.
I saw this on TikTok, and this was awesome.
Taco Bell Live Mas Live 2024, which streamed earlier on, when did this stream? February 9th. It's hosted by rapper Amari White and features all the greatest hits we've come to love from gaming presentations. It opened with a montage celebrating Taco Bell, followed by a few words from Taco Bell CEO Sean Trevisan, clad inexplicably in a leather jacket over an untucked white button-down collared shirt, who starts by shouting out a bunch of influencers in the audience before giving the audience a Taco Bell history lesson, including the deeper philosophy behind Live Mas. This was followed by a look behind the curtain at the Taco Bell test kitchen with global chief food innovation officer Liz Matthews taking the stage to reveal a bunch of new menu items, triple decker tacos, more coffee choices, goiza, more vegan options, a partnership with ice cream chain Salt and Straw for what appears to be ice cream tacos, a baffling cross between a chimichanga and a chalupa, and the introduction of Taco Bell milkshakes, and also Baja Blast pie.
So the Baja Blast pie looks bizarre.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Baja Blast flavored stuff.
Yes.
And that's because Baja Blast is very synonymous with Taco Bell, and everybody, goes nuts about Baja.
And now you can buy Baja Blast in the store. They just sell it in stores now. Yeah.
Oh wow. I'm trying to find an article that has pictures of all of the new menu items.
Yeah.
But here's a BuzzFeed one. So they have a picture of the Baja Blast pie, and it's a weird color green.
Yeah. It's the Baja Blast green.
Yeah, but it's off-putting as a pie.
Yeah, 100%.
So I just Googled what is the flavor profile of Baja Blast, because I've had it, but I can't put my finger on it.
I remember when I've had it, I would always say to myself, regular Mountain Dew is better.
No, I like Baja Blast.
I don't like Baja Blast.
It is tropical lime flavor.
Okay.
Of Mountain Dew. It's Mountain Dew, but more limey.
Okay.
It's
weird because I like lime.
So I think the Mountain Dew pie, or the Baja Blast pie, is really just, there it is. It's just key lime pie.
Yeah.
That's fine. I like key lime.
Yeah.
It's just a weird
colored Baja Blast color.
Yeah, just a weird colored key lime pie. Also, what is the blue Dorito? Oh, it's an X-ray.
Cool Ranch is blue Doritos.
I'm sorry. Cheez-It.
Oh.
And it's only blue because it's an X-ray.
Yes.
It's just literally a giant Cheez-It.
The Taco Bell E3 had one more thing.
This was the one more thing?
It was a crunch wrap with a Cheez-It inside. Instead of the taco shell, it's a Cheez-It.
A big fat Cheez-It.
Yes.
Okay. They could have done that with cheesy Dorito.
True. But I think a Cheez-It, that's a whole different thing entirely.
Mm-hmm. Only because it's thicker.
Yeah.
Where do we stand on Taco Bell?
I actually had to have a serious conversation with a friend of mine who went on a tear in our group chat of how much he doesn't like Taco Bell. I had to calmly explain to this man.
You were the original Taco Bell hater.
Me?
Yeah, didn't you not? I never liked Taco Bell.
I never hated Taco Bell.
Never liked Taco Bell.
I've come to the realization that Taco Bell is for a very specific moment in your day. Yeah, usually the
2:00 in the morning.
Usually the lowest moment of your day.
Yeah.
Fourth
meal.
Yeah, exactly.
I never liked Taco Bell. Ate it all the time at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because you're right. It is the lowest point of your life.
Yeah, basically.
That's your rock bottom.
Kids like Taco Bell because kids are poor and they don't know any better. And kids are always in the worst moment of their life. That's why Taco Bell is successful with kids.
Yeah, when I was poor.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. That's the difference, is I didn't like it but I had to. Maybe that's why I don't like it, because I felt obligated to have it, and I wished for more.
Right.
That being said, if I've already eaten lunch and dinner and I'm feeling a little crazy, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
And now these options, I'll go for a key lime pie at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Maybe they're trying to broaden their appeal so that you eat them at like 11 o'clock at night instead of 2 o'clock at night.
Yeah, they're getting a little fancier.
Yeah.
Cinnamon twists still fuck?
No. Yeah, no, yes, absolutely. Those absolutely do fuck. I will eat those at any time of the day. Those are good.
I will eat them, but they taste like the free shit you get on the side at like Fridays. You know, like the little at Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
The little straw things.
Yes.
They're that with cinnamon on it, cinnamon sugar on it.
But the cinnamon makes it taste good.
Fine. Something else I wanted to say about Taco Bell. I don't know. Fucking enjoy yourselves, everybody. I hope everybody's happy with what we made tacos for the Super Bowl the other day.
Okay.
You can just get the Dorito shell taco shells at the supermarket.
Yeah, Old El Paso. Yeah,
they're not Dorito, but
no, they're like nacho cheese chip.
They
flavored.
taste exactly the same, and they're great.
You can also get, I've seen this at certain supermarkets, like the taco seasoning packets. Taco Bell makes their own. So you can just get that and have Taco Bell at home.
Not that that's cheaper.
No.
Fucking supermarkets is a little crazy.
Supermarkets way
You'd think that, you could, you're supposed to cook at home and save a little bit of money. No, it's so much cheaper to go to Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're getting fake meat, but... All right. Any notifications? We got Tsukasa with 26 months. Looking forward to not E3. Yes, sir. But if you cook it at home, will it still give you diarrhea? Oh, when you're in your mid-30s,
everything gives you diarrhea.
Let's talk about our favorite corporate overlords, Disney.
Yes, this is actually big news. So this will probably be a clip. Hint, hint. Disney has purchased a $1.5 billion stake in Epic Games and teamed up with the company to develop a new, expansive, open, persistent, and social universe that will interoperate with Fortnite and let fans play, watch, shop, and engage with their favorite characters and stories from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Avatar, and more. The news was revealed during Disney's first quarter one fiscal year 24 earnings call, and it was announced that this new experience built in Unreal Engine will let players create their own stories and experiences, express their fandom in a distinctly Disney way, and share content with each other in ways that they love. Our exciting new relationship with Epic Games will bring together Disney's beloved brands and franchises with a hugely popular Fortnite in a transformative new games and entertainment universe, says Robert Iger, Chief Executive Officer and also big time dummy of the Walt Disney Company. This marks Disney's biggest entry ever into the world of games and offers significant opportunities for growth and expansion. We cannot wait for fans to experience the Disney stories and worlds they love in groundbreaking new ways. Disney has one of the first companies to believe in the potential of bringing their worlds together with ours in Fortnite, and they use Unreal Engine across their portfolio, said Tim Sweeney, CEO and founder of Epic Games, and liked the tweet of mine one time, so we're best friends. Now we're collaborating on something entirely new to build that persistent, open, and interoperable ecosystem that will bring together the Disney and Fortnite communities.
Disney was one of the first companies to believe in the potential of bringing their worlds together with ours in Fortnite.
I think that's
true.
Well, there were a lot of like Star Wars and Marvel characters in Fortnite, like towards the beginning when they started doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess so.
They're one of the big ones for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is very strange. I'm a little concerned about this. It's giving me non-flashbacks to the EA partnership with Disney and Star Wars stuff, with the Star Wars license specifically. Now it's all of Disney.
See, I feel like that's a little different. That was them they basically just farmed out Star Wars. They were like, here,
they
do
said,
something with
this IP that we own, here you go, EA. You do
something.
it.
This is Disney actively like investing money into the company, like before they even do anything, because they believe that this specific company will get them the foothold in gaming that they've always wanted.
Yeah, but the concern there is that since they have a stake in Epic Games, they're going to want all of their IPs to be all over Epic Games stuff. Like they're going to want, when they think about video games, like, oh, we need a Star Wars game. Oh, we need a Marvel game. They're going to think about Epic first, because that's where their foothold is.
Well, and I tweeted this out. This is what Bob Iger said about the whole thing. He said, when I saw, this is going to be the most boomer fucking sentence you will hear all day. When I saw Gen Z and Gen Alpha and millennials, the amount of time they spend in terms of total media screen time on video games, it was stunning, equal to what they spend on TV and movies. The conclusion I reached, we have to be there.
Did you tweet about this?
I did.
Yeah, I remember seeing this.
Because I said, this is the same guy, and I had the news article for it. I cite my sources. This is the same guy who closed down Disney Interactive, their in-house video game division, in 2016 because he did not have enough confidence in the business in terms of it being stable enough to stay in it for a self-publishing perspective. Mm-hmm. So 2016, like what's that, like 8 years ago? He didn't believe in Disney's own capability of making video games, so he shut the whole thing down and started farming out the IP to other studios. That's why EA got Star Wars for 10 years. I mean, that's why Sony got Spider-Man, but that's also why Square Enix got Avengers, you know? And now all of a sudden, he realized kids these days are playing the Fortnite. We got to get in on the Fortnite.
I don't understand how these rich, old, dumb fucks.
Yes.
like, they can't be that. They can't be stupid because they're making all this money. They're doing some things right, you know?
Right.
But there's something happens where, like, you can see, you know, from the third person's perspective, you're watching it and you're like, how the fuck could you be doing it? How the fuck could you throw all of that away?
Yeah.
And I guess in this perspective, in this situation with Disney, they had games, and some of them did really good, but when they're looking at the paper, they're probably like, what's this medium that's costing us a lot of money?
Yeah.
This ain't working out for us. Let's give it to people who know better, who know the medium of video games. So they give it to fucking EA because they see on paper that EA makes a shit ton of money, but they don't know that in the world of video games, they make god-awful games.
Yes.
So they're like, here, you guys figure out, okay. And then they shit all over it.
Yeah.
And then Disney's like, wait. We need to pay more attention with gaming because gaming's got all of the money.
Yeah.
You know anything about esports? I hear esports is a big thing right now.
I think the partnership with Fortnite specifically, because like when Bob Iger came back, like one of his things was like trying to get like his foot in the metaverse. And I know.
Metaverse, Web3, crypto, esports, AI.
Fortnite is probably the closest anyone has come to like a metaverse that works.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, in a way, he is like, you know, getting in bed with the winner of that arms race to create the metaverse. And it doesn't sound like it's going to be like games in the way we normally think of games. Like, I don't think we're getting a Mickey Mouse game anytime soon. I don't think this means that we're going to get Kingdom Hearts 4 anytime soon or anything like that. I think this is explicitly creating a universe for Disney IP that also connects to Fortnite in some roundabout way.
Yeah, I mean, Fortnite at one point was the biggest game in the world, and it still is one of the biggest games in the world.
Yeah.
And they are in a position to be their own massive platform of game, you know, the metaverse, as you say.
Yeah, especially now that they have, like, within Fortnite, they have a Lego game, they have a racing game, they have Rock Band.
Yeah, they're trying to, I've said this before, they're trying to be Roblox. They're trying to be the platform where you play other games inside of it. And that makes sense, and it makes sense for Disney to want to be a part of it. Buying a stake in it is interesting because usually, I mean, these days we really see companies buying the whole thing or buying a majority. Buying only 10% is weird, but again, I think this sets a weird. This is gonna be weird because they're gonna now focus on Epic for future projects.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do use Unreal for like The Mandalorian and like the big volume that they have where they film all that shit. That provides the background stuff for it. So they have already invested in Epic before to use Unreal, and now they're, trying to get their toes back into making games themselves, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see how that goes.
What game studios does Epic own?
Harmonix, Psyonix, the Rock Band developers, the Rocket League developers. I think they own People Can Fly, who made Bulletstorm and Painkiller.
Mediatonic, Harmonix, and Psyonix.
Yeah.
Is that it? I thought in my head, Epic is like a conglomerate. So like, they're still gonna need other studios to make Disney games,
right? They do own People Can Fly, but they renamed it. Oh no, sorry, they named it Epic Games Poland. Oh no, People Can Fly is now independent again. Never mind.
They have a deal with Remedy, right?
Epic?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, because Alan Wake went on.
Oh right, well, went on the Epic Games Store.
Yeah.
But they have like Epic Games has deals with a lot of publishers and stuff. Like I think they have a deal with Ubisoft, and like those games don't necessarily use Unreal.
Okay, well, they do have an Ubisoft game coming out soon.
Yeah.
So, Flo says, can we exclude the Jedi Survivor games in the shit all over talk? Yes.
Yeah.
Except that you need to log into EA to play the fucking game.
Yeah.
And on any platform. So it discourages me from playing it every time. Every time I boot the game up, realize I have to log in, and then the EA launcher breaks whatever I'm trying to play it on, and then I just can't do it, and then I give up. Even though I have played it on my Steam Deck before.
Right.
I played it on my ROG Ally before, but for some reason the EA store breaks everything.
Also, those games are made by Respawn, which seems to be the only company within EA that knows what they're doing. Because, they made Titanfall. Those games are great. They made the Jedi games. Those games are great. It's just EA doesn't like them for some reason.
Who's working on Apex?
That might be another Respawn. I think there's 2 Respawn teams.
Oh, okay. That would make sense.
I might be wrong.
Respawn Entertainment.
Okay.
It says Respawn. Probably different divisions inside of Respawn.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway. Okay. I'm a little concerned about Disney going whole hog on any.
Yeah, 1.5 billion is a lot of hog to like give to a company, to give to a industry that you have in the past said you have no idea what you're doing in there, and now all of a sudden you do. So
they haven't been making good moves, Disney.
No.
So
and it's amazing because like ever since Bob Iger came back, like the veneer has gone off of him, because he used to be like, he had this presentation of like he was a very creator forward guy. Like he gave creatives a lot of leeway to make what they needed to make. That's why he bought like, his acquisitions of like Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm. Like they were all like praised as like good business moves to like help build the Disney portfolio out. And now ever since he's come back, it's just been like, hey, maybe this guy sucks.
Yeah, again, I don't know. I mean, you can't always make the right decision. No one person can always be making the right decisions. But I mean, when you're the guy who's supposed to be making the company trillions of dollars,
yeah,
it just seems so obvious from our perspective, as people who play these games, to be like, what are you doing? But I mean, it must be different being on top of it. I don't know.
Also, no, just can we go back to like that quote, man, because like that is seriously the most like old man looks at kids these days. Like, oh, they're playing the video game. Like,
this is why I will never have imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
because these people have such confidence to just make the worst decisions.
Serious, like,
let's call Twitter X.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me spend billions of my dollars on this website
just to shut down a kid who's tweeting the location of my plane. And also possibly because I think it caused my one kid to turn trans. That's the other conspiracy theory.
Wait, that Twitter did it?
Yeah, the ideas that were put out on Twitter caused Elon's one child who is trans to turn trans and then hate his guts.
Is Twitter making everyone trans? That's what it is?
I guess.
I thought it was the fluoride in the water.
I thought it was Taylor Swift and Joe Biden teaming up to get the Chiefs to win.
You mean I can drink water again? Not giving up Twitter though. I guess I'll just be trans.
Yeah.
Anyway, wow, this episode went crazy.
We were supposed to keep it short, but here we are talking about
the issues.
Just remember that the only good billionaire is Bruce Wayne, and I will not hear otherwise.
Debatable.
Moving on, more Disney news. Spider-Man 2 will be getting a big update on March 7th, and it will include a highly anticipated New Game Plus mode alongside new suits and more.
This is the PlayStation Spider-Man 2.
Yes, not to be confused with the movie Spider-Man 2 or the movie, the Spider-Man 2, the movie, the game, or the Spider-Man 2 on PS1, or the Spider-Man 2 on Game Boy, or the Amazing Spider-Man 2, or...
That yes. There's a lot of
Spider-Man
2s.
Marvel's Spider-Man 2 from last year is getting an update on March 7th. It'll have a new suits, it'll have New Game Plus, and more. Don't know what the and more is necessarily, but we'll see.
I appreciate that they are continuing to update this game.
Yes. I know New Game Plus was like a really asked for feature. So now it's good that it's finally coming. I don't know if that'll be enough to get me to go back in the game because I've already done everything in it.
I barely scratched the surface and I'm never turning that game on again.
It might be interesting because now that I'm fully powered up and I got all the suits, so I can just go through. That was a long game.
Yeah. I appreciated when they did all of the updates for the PC version. Like being able to play it in widescreen and stuff is pretty cool. I think Sony did a lot of cool stuff with PC ports of their games. Oh, speaking of which, we didn't talk about this at all, but I played a little bit of Helldivers.
Okay.
That is a Sony published game.
Yes.
For PlayStation 5. Also launched day one on PC.
Yes.
So I bought it on Steam and I played it on my ROG Ally. It runs like dog shit on the ROG Ally. Like 20 frames a second. I think there's some settings I could tweak to make it not run like shit. But I heard it runs good on Steam Deck and I downloaded it on the Steam Deck. So I'm going to play it on the Steam Deck. It's great. I'd imagine it would be a lot better if I played with people. I only played it by myself. It's very hard to play by yourself because it's a horde mode. You're basically playing Left 4 Dead by yourself. But it's cool and it runs great on the computer. And it's great to see Sony releasing their game on PC on other platforms.
Yeah.
And it sold really well. So I hope this shows Sony oh, maybe we can be successful if we let down the walls to our garden, you know?
Yes. So, and hopefully it's a trend. I mean, we're going to see it with Bungie's game Marathon. That's going to be a multi-platform game.
Oh, really?
When it comes out. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't think we're going to see the next Uncharted or the last, their single player games are not going to be day and date on PC.
Right.
But I think if Helldivers, which is a multiplayer game, having that day and date on PC, having their multiplayer games day and date on PC is a good way to expand the audience and just have more of a player base for your multiplayer game.
I hope the Kojima games go that way because Death Stranding had a weird relationship with Sony. It was they considered it a first party game, but he was we are not a first party Sony studio. He was offended that they included Death Stranding in the reels for Sony first party stuff.
And Death Stranding on PC is, I think, published by 505 Games. It's not published by Sony.
No, you're right. And it launched
in Game Pass.
It did?
Well, it didn't. I don't know if it launched in Game Pass, but it was a part of Game Pass.
Well, I was gonna say Death Stranding on PC came out like a year after the game came out.
Yeah,
like it did the same thing that Sony first party games usually do, where they wait for like a year. They give it like a little grace period. So Kojima's got Death Stranding 2. I don't know how that's gonna launch. I don't know if that's gonna be a PlayStation thing. I hope not.
Right.
He has an Xbox title.
Yes.
Is that the one with
That's OD. That's the one with Otto Krier and Sophie Lillis, Hunter Schafer. That's the one Jordan Peele's working on.
Jordan Peele was the name I was trying to say. Yeah, and then he's got the tactical espionage action game that we don't know anything about.
That's just called Physint, and it's also a movie, kind of.
So we don't know anything about that.
We know one thing about it, because there's an article in here about it.
Guess we could talk about that.
Yes. We know that Kojima says the fans and his health are to blame for that game.
What the hell?
Hideo Kojima announced a new action espionage game called Physint at Sony's PlayStation State of Play event. To hear the founder of Kojima Productions describe it, Physint sure sounds like a new take on Metal Gear, the stealth series that Kojima created, but take it to its extreme. On a new episode on his YouTube channel, HideoTube, the first one in 7 years. You thought I was taking a long break. Kojima says that constant prodding from Metal Gear fans to make something new in that vein pushed him to return to the action espionage genre. A health scare in 2020 also sounds instrumental in Kojima's choice to tackle a third development project. Kojima describes Physint as both a game and a movie at the same time. Hence the game's reveal at the Sony Pictures lot. Kojima emphasized that Physint will be first and foremost a game. However, if your mother walks in and sees you playing this game, she will think you're watching a movie, he said in the translated comments. He then talks about the path that led him back to the genre, saying, because I became independent, I wanted to do something new with my own IP, so I challenged myself. I first made Death Stranding, then to create a franchise, I made Death Stranding 2, and I wanted to do something even newer, so I started work on OD, and since then, there have been a lot of new ideas, but in the last 8 years, every day on social media, from users all around the world, people have been asking me to create another Metal Gear and stuff like that. Kojima says he fell ill in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic and underwent surgery for his condition. The creator says that he was at his lowest point then and considered getting out of game development. Kojima makes his condition at the time sound dire, noting that he wrote out his will. And in that moment, I realized that people die, he explained.
Oh my God.
I turned 60 last year. I'll be 70 in 10 years. I hope to never retire. Having said that, if users desire it so much, I thought I should change my priorities a bit. I still want to do new things, but I decided to make an action espionage game.
That was in 2020.
Yes.
That also happens to be the same year that Death Stranding came out on Windows. So I think the Windows port killed him.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Nearly killed him. That's crazy. I guess we didn't really know that he had a health scare around that time.
Yeah.
But I guess that was a good time to have a health scare because that was after Death Stranding had already come out. So he had like a little grace period. Having 3 games in development at the same time is insane,
especially
for one director,
for one studio period.
Yeah,
you know, most studios work on one game at a time. If they're working on multiple games, that means there's multiple locations of the studio. And as far as I know, there's like Kojima Productions is only in one place.
Yeah,
I think they have a U.S. office, but I think it's literally just an office.
Yeah, like one guy.
Yeah.
It's Jeff Keighley's apartment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I'm glad they're doing a bunch of stuff. I'm glad they're doing another tactical espionage action game because I want more Metal Gear.
That's honestly like the most interested I've been in a Kojima Productions thing in a long time because like
there's potential here that this is just Metal Gear.
True.
There's potential that he's doing a bit and Konami's involved in some weird way and this could all work out.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I'd imagine there'd be some animosity between him and Konami. We don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time. But also, like, you know, Phantom Pain, they were billing that as a completely different game at first as like a little fun misdirection. And he's done that a couple times in the past too, but that's the one that stands out in my head. So it could absolutely just be a new Metal Gear game. But it'd be weird for him to like give you even that much information that it's a tactical espionage action. I don't know. I gotta play a lot more Death Stranding. I never beat it, so I got it on Steam. I might play the whole thing again from the beginning.
Yeah, I saw it was on sale. I debated getting it or not. I saw how long to beat, and it's like 40 hours. I'm like, I don't have fucking time for that.
And it drags.
Yeah,
in the beginning it drags. But it's fun because I loved what I played. I only played like 12 hours of it.
Right.
But I loved what I played, but it was slow. But I was enjoying it. It's a lot of weird, dumb stuff. Like you're just kind of walking,
right?
But there's a lot of weird shit that goes on while you're walking that you can't really like quantify. It's in traditional game sense, like your goal is to walk from point A to point B, but then all this shit happens. So it's like weird to wire your brain around like the journey and not the destination sort of thing. So I gotta try that. That'll be like a fun little bedtime game for a while, I guess. All right, let's move on to a notification from Calcal something or other. Thanks for the 6 months. Finally watching live to see the resurgence of the backlog. But where's Kit and Krista? What does that have to do? What's Kit and Krista have to fucking... They were on Nintendo podcast last week. Go watch Nintendo podcast. This podcast, you had Will Wolf. And that's it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Sega.
Sega has released its financial results for Q3 of fiscal year 2024, and it paints a somewhat disappointing picture for the company as it reports sluggish sales of its premium titles, including Sonic Superstars. In its notice of revision of operating results forecast letter, the company states that in the consumer area, although we release some new titles in Q3, including Sonic Superstars, Endless Dungeon, and Total War Pharaoh, sales went sluggish during the holiday season. Regarding Sonic Superstars specifically, Sega had previously noted that although initial sales were lower than expected, it intended to ramp up marketing for the game significantly during November and December, as this tends to be when Sonic games sell better. Clearly, this hasn't happened quite how Sega had hoped. We're just speculating, but just maybe releasing a new game at the same time as Super Mario Bros. Wonder probably didn't do Sonic Superstars any favors. In its full financial report, Sega offers some explanation for its slow sales, stating regarding the entertainment content industry in the consumer area, the expansion of the market, mainly in Europe and the US, has reached a plateau due to worsening economic environment caused by inflation and other factors. In addition, game development costs continue to rise, and there is an urgent need to respond to these changes in the business environment. On the flip side, however, Paraslot, Pachislot, and Pachinko machines appear to be doing rather well, with Sega revising its unit sales forecast from 178,000 to 179,000. Not a huge increase, but still the numbers are going up. So I think it's obvious Sonic Superstars didn't sell very well because it was released within a week of Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Yes.
And like Sonic Superstars is a fine game, but like Super Mario Bros. Wonder is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Let us not forget who won the great console war of the 1990s. It wasn't you, Sega. There's a reason why more people buy Mario games.
It's crazy that they decided that was a fine time to release that game. But like, there's a lot of things that go into a game release. Yeah. There's a lot of things that could absolutely destroy a game. Titanfall 2 is a great example of a game that was ruined by its release date. It was sandwiched between Call of Duty and Battlefield, and it was like the best-selling Call of Duty and the best-selling Battlefield. Yeah. So like it got absolutely fucked. Obviously, Super Mario Bros. Wonder is the best 2D platformer to come out in many, many years. The most anticipated 2D platformer probably ever. And you're going to release a Sonic game the same week?
Not only are you going to release a Sonic game the same week, you're releasing a 2D side-scrolling Sonic game, literally the same style of game as the Super Mario Brothers game.
And it's bad. It's a bad game.
And not only that, like within a year of Sonic Frontiers, your big grand reinvention of the character that people seem to really take to.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of like embracing that, you're taking a step back with from a conceptual standpoint, you're taking a step back and going back to a 2D game, that people often see as a lesser game.
See, I don't want Sega to take the wrong lessons from this. Like obviously releasing it at the same time as Mario Brothers Wonder was a bad idea.
That was
But it's the worst idea is releasing the game in the state that it was anyway. Like they had a lot of great ideas in Sonic Superstars, but overall it was just a bad game.
Right.
They could have made it a great game. And I don't want to say that Sega is even capable of making a Sonic game that is like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, but they could learn a lot from how Super Mario Bros. Wonder took the core elements of Mario and fucked with it in a way that made it so much better and a new thing and great and everybody loves it. They could have done something just like that with Sonic, and they did with Sonic Mania.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Sonic Mania, if this had been Sonic Mania 2, we might be sitting in a different story here, because Sonic Mania 2, took, the old style of Sonic gameplay and found new ways to like remix it and reimagine it and do fun and creative things. Whereas Sonic Superstars didn't. All it really did to update it was go from pixel art to full 3D.
Yeah.
Which wasn't really enough to like add a unique voice to the game.
I don't think that they understand why Sonic Mania did as good as it did.
Probably not.
And I mean, it's obvious because of how Sonic Superstars turned out.
Yeah. And like, I don't even hate Sonic Superstars. I like it, but I can definitely like acknowledge that like this is not, a top tier Sonic game.
For some reason, I played the whole game, and that's a lot coming from me.
Yeah.
I think part of it is that it was pretty short. It was like 10 hours.
Yeah.
So I guess I liked it enough to want to see the whole thing through, but in hindsight, I'm mad about it. And there were parts I enjoyed, and there were parts where I was like, what the fuck is this? And there was a lot more what the hell's this than there was parts that I enjoyed. Yeah. So it's just, this is another one of those situations where I'm sitting in the sidelines being like, what were you think? You have all of the answers right in front of you. You could have done something a lot better, and then this happens. But the team who made Sonic Mania making their own game.
Yes.
I forgot the name of it. Rolling Armadillo Man.
Something
Armadillo
like that,
Time. No. It's not headcanon anymore, right?
No. It's Christian Whitehead and his
Penny's Big Breakaway.
Is that it?
That is it. It's by there's two games that are very similar.
Yeah.
Penny's Big Breakaway is Christian Whitehead's game. The developer is called Evening Star.
Right.
That's the one where it looks like a 3D Sonic game and the character has a yo-yo that they can swing off of and stuff. That looks really good. And this is what probably could have happened with Sonic if they let him handle the IP.
Yeah.
But instead he's going to do his own thing. And you know what? If you're a Sonic fan, buy this game. Show them that, vote with your wallet.
Yeah.
There's another chat. What's the other game that I'm thinking of that's a Sonic type game? I think Jackson was playing the Steam demo. It was in the Steam Next Fest thing. You guys let me know. In the meantime, though, we will talk about something else. Dead Cells developer.
Yes, this is funny because it has the word asshole in it. A former lead designer on Dead Cells says that the decision by studio Motion Twin to end development on the roguelite is the worst imaginable asshole move against its co-developer, Evil Empire. Sebastian Bernard, who formed the independent game maker Deep Night Games after leaving Motion Twin, had previously said he left the developer when asked due to his relationship with the team growing complicated. Bernard now criticizes Motion Twin and also comments on the future projects of the spin-off studio Evil Empire. Bernard's comments followed the Motion Twin announcement that Dead Cells Update 35 will be the roguelike game's last since it launched in 2018. While the two studios are separate entities, several Motion Twin developers formed Evil Empire in 2019, with Motion Twin handing over the Dead Cells reins to Evil Empire to lead the continual development of the game. Evil Empire says on its website that it works hand in hand with Motion Twin as the latter studio validates initial designs and important milestones. Sebastian Bernard's extended blog post further outlining his feelings regarding Dead Cells is available to read. The original story continues. Following the announcement of the end of the development of Dead Cells, Bernard responded to a question in the game's official Discord about his opinion on the matter. Since you're asking me, I just say that Motion Twin did the worst imaginable asshole move against Dead Cells and Evil Empire. Having seen firsthand the actual situation behind the scenes, I can honestly say I'm glad to not be a part of this anymore. The official statement is a total marketing bullshit. The way the situation happened is on a whole a different level. I never imagined my former co-op studio would turn out to be such greedy people. I wish the absolute best to Evil Empire for their next things and hope people working there will survive this sudden economic cut. In a post to his Deep Night website in 2020, Bernard said he built around a dozen game prototypes after Dead Cells launch, but as the months passed by, nothing happened. My relations with the team became more and more complicated. So complicated, actually, that it ultimately led to my forced departure as I asked to leave in December of 2019. Bernard's comments follow Motion Twin's announcement that Update 35 for Dead Cells marks the end of our creative journey on the game. The developer adds that it wants to avoid more of the same and diminishing the unique charm that makes Dead Cells special to all. Evil Empire also released a statement in which the team said it will no longer be working on Dead Cells. Instead, Evil Empire will now work on a new game or two, which likely refers to 2 deals signed with third-party IP holders for Evil Empire to work on a pre-existing game series.
So he never explains what exactly makes them greedy for working on Dead Cells, or what exactly about them not working on Dead Cells makes them asshole-ish people.
Yeah, it's like, it sounds like
it's very vague.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they wanted to keep working on the title, and then Motion Twin basically said, "No, you're going to stop. We want to do other things."
Oh, I understand. He created Dead Cells and then moved to created his own company, but still worked on Dead Cells.
Yes.
Okay.
In the blog post he wrote, he said, to put it shortly, Evil Empire which is his company, did a tremendous job at keeping the game fresh and alive while taking great care of their players. On the other side, he continues, I've seen firsthand how Motion Twin considered our player base years before Dead Cells even existed. Back when we were making dozens of browser flash games, our short-term strategy was release, update a bit, drop. It's not some confidential information. It's basically what our old player base from the pre-Dead Cells era know. I have obviously been a part of that, but as a cooperative company, the decisions were taken together, and I had my share of delusion on the topic. So it sounded like they wanted to keep the game alive for as long as possible, and Motion Twin was finally like, absolutely not.
Yeah, this is
out something new.
This is his baby, and he created it, and he takes a lot of ownership over it. And now they're like, no, too bad.
Yeah,
that is sad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's a lot of weird bureaucratic bullshit that leads to somebody having to give up ownership over their game. It's an interesting situation where he still got to work on it. Yeah, I mean, I think the game came out in 2018.
Yeah,
it's old.
Yeah,
like you're gonna have to stop support eventually.
Point, yeah,
they have had great support for that mean, they just had a shit ton of DLC launched for it.
Mm-hmm.
That was like that Castlevania people in it. There's a lot of like weird IP stuff that went into it. Also, the game like runs amazing on like every platform that it's on, including Android and iOS.
Yeah.
So I think it's had a good run.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what else they can come up with, because I don't need to keep playing. Actually, I mean, I did load up Dead Cells recently and played it again. So whatever. I hope they just keep updating it for whatever new platforms come out. But in terms of new content, make a new game.
Well, maybe like they'll continue to release it on new consoles consoles. And
Yeah,
stuff,
that's what I hope.
Yeah.
I hope they don't drop support in that way.
Yeah.
All right, real quick. Ubisoft CEO defends Skull and Bones $70 price.
During a session as part of a conference call during Ubisoft's Q3 sales for fiscal year 2024, one caller pointed out that Skull and Bones now appears to be taking a more live service approach. The game's year one roadmap was recently published, for example. The caller asked why Ubisoft was insisting on charging $70 for the game and potentially limiting the size of the player base, suggesting a free-to-play model may be better suited for the live service mechanics and give it a better chance of building a community. Ubisoft CEO, and like, I know I call them all idiots, but this guy is shockingly dumb. Yves Guillemot replied with an assertion that Skull and Bones deserves to be a full-price game because of its scale. You will see that Skull and Bones is a full-fledged game, he said. It's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete that game is. It is really a quadruple A game, and that will deliver in the long run.
I hate that.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to say that.
This game is so big, it has to... Really, we should be charging you $80 for it.
How long has this game been in development?
Like 7 years or something. Too long. This game has come a long way from just being, Assassin's Creed 4 2. You know what I mean? It started off as like...
So we think. We don't know yet. Until I see this game in the wild, I'm not gonna believe that it's anything more than just the boat stuff from Assassin's Creed 4.
Well, yeah, it was pitched to us as the boat stuff from Assassin's Creed 4, but its own game. But
I felt like I was losing my fucking mind when Assassin's Creed 4 came out and everyone was like, yeah, boats!
Yeah.
Because that was the worst part of Assassin's Creed 3. And then Assassin's Creed 4, they doubled down on it because everyone was like, yeah, boats. And then I got in the boats and I was like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I hate the boats in this game. And then people liked it so much, they decided, let's make a game around the boats.
Yeah.
I don't see what everybody else sees.
And, making a game around the boats is one thing, but now, like, you're slowly morphing it into, like, a live service game when, A, live service games are on their way out, and B, Sea of Thieves has been doing that for years, and people have grown to like that game a lot.
Yeah.
So now you're competing with another big time live pirate game that has already has its fan base, and you're Ubisoft. You're not exactly known for garnering goodwill with your community.
So H3 Catacomb in the chat says he played the but not Sea of Thieves. Skull and Bones open beta for about 30 minutes before I just completely lost interest. He said, imagine what you don't like about it and make it worse. That's what Skull and Bones is.
Yeah. I hyped myself up into wanting to play Assassin's Creed 3 again this weekend, but then you reminded me of the boat stuff and now I'm hesitant to do that. Because
I liked 3.
Yeah, no, 3 was was weird.
People didn't like 3, but I liked 3.
I grew to like it over the years. And I was talking, because of the Super Bowl party we were at, somebody made a Hamilton reference, and then I brought up how a minor character in Hamilton is actually the main villain of Assassin's Creed 3. And he dies in the most unceremonious way. Spoiler alert for Assassin's Creed 3, the end. You're tired, you're beaten down, you don't want to do this anymore. You walk into some random bar and he's just sitting at a table. So you sit down next to him, and without saying where, you look at him and you give the most uneffortless shiv in the side, and that's it. That's how he goes out.
I don't remember that at all.
I was just so shocked by it because it was just so sudden, and it's so clear that Connor was wanted to go home, but he just happened to stumble across his mortal enemy, so he had to take care of that.
I think a lot of the Assassin's Creed games, the story was lost on me. It was a lot of here's a
100%.
white guy, here's another white guy.
Oh yeah, no, the Assassin's Creed stories were bad.
Yeah.
But there was something about that small moment that kind of resonated with me. I think it was just a shock of you had just gone through all of this, but oh fuck, I just want to go to bed.
I said here's a white guy, here's another white guy, but the games have Middle Eastern people and Native American people.
The opening screen is this game was made by a multinational group of people that expresses a whole bunch of different beliefs.
But are all the bad guys just generic white dudes?
No.
Because that's what I have in my brain, thinking back at all the old Assassin's Creed games.
No, the entire Assassin's Creed 1, the entire thing that took place in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 2, that took place in Italy the whole time. Assassin's Creed 3 was North America. But then you had games in Egypt, games in Greece.
Yeah, but I stopped playing after 4.
Right.
I think for me though, it was both just bland character design. Anyway, I have been getting the itch to play Assassin's Creed again though.
Right.
Mirage kind of
I've heard Mirage is very good.
Kind of looked good, yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
Let's fire through this last bit of news here.
Speaking of live service games on the way out, everyone's favorite topic, Suicide Squad is getting a new leaderboard thanks to a major unintended bug, which caused the burn status to scale incorrectly. Rocksteady became aware of the bug when players began reaching the mastery levels during the post-game, beyond our wildest expectations, the developers said on the Discord server. As mastery level increased, burns damage also increased, Rocksteady explained, adding that this was not what the game was balanced for at launch. The developer is fixing the scaling bug, it said, and once the fix is in place, a new leaderboard will begin. It is unclear when this update will be released beyond a soon from Rocksteady community manager Darosh Brown. Rocksteady said that the current leaderboard won't be wiped. It'll be left to exist in perpetuity, and players will be able to flip back to see their old achievements, unlocked mastery levels of finite crisis rank, acquired gear, and squad levels won't be reset either. So this game really did have a shitty launch, didn't it?
So what is it if you there's a bug where if your mastery level goes up, so does your burn damage?
Yeah.
Is it the amount of damage that you take or the amount of damage that you give? Because if it's what you give, then that's fucking crazy. That breaks everything.
I honestly have no idea. It's not very clear. The fact that, like, you know, it's one of those goddamn games where, like, everything, like, is different, like, by, like, 0.2%. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know, this gun has burn damage, but this gun has, like, 0.2% less burn damage, but it's got 0.4% ice damage, and what this...
It's one of those dumb things.
It's one of those dumb things, yeah.
That's a shame, because again, this is something that I wanted to try, but it doesn't look fun.
Yeah, no. Nothing about this game has been good.
Hey, it's Sweet Louis time!
Hey!
This is by Pepposed, and it's one of those memes from this week.
There's so many good ones.
It's Travis Kelce yelling at his coach, and it says, Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a bunch of scraps. Box of scraps.
There was another good one where it's like, Anakin, my commitment is to the Republic, to democracy.
Oh, God. They took him out of the game for like a minute, and he fucking lost his mind.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's what happens when you disrespect someone in front of his girlfriend. All right. Now, hey, let's, for the love of God.
Oh, God, yes. We've had it unboxing for 2 weeks.
We've had this sitting here for 2 weeks. It's just from Retro Fighters. Retro Fighters. This is a VHS game case that is officially licensed by Blockbuster. Oh wait, you opened it already, right?
Yes. Did I? No. Yes.
Oh, we never actually looked at it?
No. Because there's a picture of it on the box.
Oh, okay. It's a Nintendo Switch game case. You put Nintendo Switch games in here. But it is stylized as a Blockbuster VHS.
See, kids, back in the day.
Oh, explain it to me.
When Uncle Bob and Will were growing up, there used to be this magical place
Uncle Bob and Daddy Will.
There used to be this magical place called the Blockbuster Video where you would go on a Friday night and you would rent a movie or a video game to take home and watch or play on the weekends.
Oh my God.
And the movies used to come on these things called VHS tapes.
It looked like this.
Yes. It looked like this. But this is not a VHS tape. This is how do you open it?
I don't know, but here, this is...
Oh, no, you got to get the whole experience. Because the VHS tape came in this, and then you open it, and there's the VHS tape. This is the iconic Blockbuster case, and it would say the movie on the side, and it'll give you this shitty synopsis on the back. And this is what a VHS tape looked like. But this, if I could figure out how to open the goddamn thing...
This would be awesome if you could put SD cards in it.
I'm sure they got them.
I would load it up with SD cards.
Yeah. I feel like...
Are there instructions?
There gotta be. Like... Because this is where, like, the head of the VHS would, like, open. This is why we haven't unboxed it in 2 weeks. We don't know how it works.
You know,
Right?
It's got directions on it, but it says put this end in your VHS player. Oh wait, this has to flip up.
I think it does. Officially licensed. Oh wait, here we go. Don't force it. It says don't force it.
What do you want me to do?
This case is designed for easy opening. Use the easy open tab on the edge of the game case to open and fasten. Turn it around.
Oh.
It's not intuitive.
It's not intuitive.
See, no, the problem is we actually grew up with VHS tapes. So
and there's an arrow pointing that way.
Yeah, we actually grew up with VHS tapes. So we know like there's supposed to be a flap at the top, but you have it open from the bottom.
Yeah, flip that. Oh, well, they can't. That's why. They can't flip the hinge because I understand. But still, put like a piece of paper on the front or something. This is cool, though. It's heavy.
Yeah, it's nice, sturdy. It's good build quality.
So it's for Nintendo Switch games, but I wonder if you could put SD cards in it.
I'm sure you could fit SD cards in there. This is good. It's good like if you can put micro SD cards in there up to 4.
Oh, good. Perfect. Because I have a shit ton of micro SD cards.
This is good like if you travel and you want to bring a couple games, but you don't want to bring the actual game cases.
I have a butt ton of micro SD cards for all these different handhelds that I have whenever I need to pop all my ROMs into something. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all my ROMs on all different micro SD cards and have a little booklet.
Yeah.
So, I just got a new handheld. Let me just pop this open. Here's my whole game library, you know? Throw an affiliate link in the chat. Okay. You got it, my friend. It's pretty cool. Now we'll talk to you people real quick.
Yes. As we start with people who left comments on last week's Wulff Den podcast over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Wulff Den podcast. I'll start. You do the links.
Oh, yes.
All right. Last week, Josh Adeas 7206. Hey guys, if the Vita 2 does come to fruition, what game series would you like to see on it?
The Vita 2.
I would like to see the Vita 2 be the home of all the series that Sony has not really abandoned, but like doesn't do anything with anymore, like Jak and Daxter or Sly Cooper or Resistance, like those types of games. Sony has a tendency, like when a system ends, the franchises that were prevalent on that system also ends.
Yeah. I think one of the great things about a major console manufacturer having 2 consoles at once, namely a handheld, like a small one and a big one, is you get smaller games on the smaller one.
Right.
You know, it's like offshoot games or like games that they could spend less time on, but it makes them unique in other ways. That's one of the great things about when Nintendo had a handheld to go along with their other stuff. Yeah. Some of their best games were on the handheld. And then when the Switch happened and they had to hybrid it, all of these games that used to be the smaller handheld stuff all had to all of a sudden step their game up. And some of them didn't make it.
Yeah.
Some of them benefited tremendously from that step up, like Metroid, or even 2D Mario.
Yeah.
But some didn't, like Pokemon.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the handhelds were also, in Nintendo's case at least, they were a good place to keep like their retro games alive, because the GBA was like filled with Super Nintendo ports.
Yeah.
And then even the DS with N64 games and whatnot. And even the Vita had a lot of like PS2 ports and like, you know, PS3 ports into the PS4's life cycle.
Yeah.
So keeping the classic IPs alive in one form or another would be a great use of a new Vita handheld.
I think these days there's potential for a Vita 2. I think if a Vita 2 came out now, it would be more like how a Steam Deck is.
Yeah.
How it just plays the modern games, just worse version. Like a less graphically intensive version.
Right.
But back in the day we used to see that it was just literally a shitty version of the main game, like the Call of Duties. They'd shove the Call of Duty on the DS and it was just a shitty version of Call of Duty. But I think there's potential now for literally having the same game with the same save file It's just lower resolution and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think we have the technology now. We've figured out how to scale things without losing the point of the game.
Yeah.
So that's what I think a Vita 2 would end up being. Anyway, Marcus Surlis with the in the chat in the fucking comment in last week's Wulff Den podcast. He said, "I love Bob's pajamas in this episode. I was not wearing pajamas. I put pants on for this. I was wearing white jeans,
but they looked like pajamas,
and I was wearing a sweater that matched, and it looked like a prisoner's outfit, or I guess pajamas." Robert Taylor says, "Let's be real here. People don't buy Xbox consoles for the exclusive games." Well, yeah. Halo's hype died down after Reach, and Gears was never popular outside of hardcore fans after the 360. Well, yeah. The reason most people go for Microsoft consoles is because the One S and Series S were the cheaper options in their generations. The Xbox digital ecosystem is superior to what PlayStation offers and Game Pass.
He's saying that those are
all the reasons.
Yeah.
The One S
and the Series S.
I know the Series S is a great cheap option this generation.
Yeah.
Was the One S? How much cheaper was that than a PlayStation 4?
It wasn't that much cheaper, but I feel like the One S was often on sale more.
Oh, okay.
The PS4 was.
So I like Game Pass and the digital ecosystem. I don't think it's a better deal than what PlayStation's Game Pass equivalent is.
I don't think PlayStation did a good job with like differentiating the differences between the different PlayStation Plus versions, and the fact that they are gatekeeping certain games behind like the more expensive tiers. Like I understand going from essential to premium, but then you have the extra tier which adds, you know, all their retro games, and it also adds cloud streaming and all this other stuff for like $150 a year or whatever the hell it is. Like that's a little extreme. Whereas, and even too, like on their storefront, you know, they don't really make it clear, you know, what version of PlayStation Plus you need, or like, can I just buy this game outright? Like they, by default, they force you to get into PlayStation Plus. Whereas on Xbox, they make it very clear, this is the cost of the game, or you can play it on Game Pass, or, you know, you can do this with it.
Yeah, Xbox has the user experience down for sure.
Yeah.
And I think PlayStation is just a mess.
Yeah.
But people like to say that Game Pass is a great deal because of the value that you get with all of the games that you get. And I think that that's accurate. I think it is a really good deal. But I think when you compare the amount of games and the type of games between the two services, PlayStation, it has more.
Yeah.
And Xbox, their big sell is that the games are day one on Game Pass. The first party games are day one on Game Pass, and you can play them. First of all, they don't have a lot of first party games. Right. Second of all, they lied about that. So
right.
I that's why I think that PlayStation is a better deal. But I'd rather have Xboxes because of the Game Pass streaming.
Right.
Game Pass streaming, I think, takes it over the edge. But if you're just comparing the playing games service, like I just want to use this as like a Netflix of games, I think PlayStation has more stuff.
I think in terms of like the Xbox exclusive games, like yes, Halo's hype did die down a lot. I would say probably closer to Halo 5 than after Reach. Gears of War was popular on the 360 because the 360 was popular.
Yeah.
The Xbox One wasn't popular. The Gears games, the quality of the Gears games didn't really change. It was just that they were on a system that wasn't selling. And I feel like a lot of it is Microsoft's fault because aside from Halo, they didn't foster any of their franchises on the Xbox One. You know, they let them all flounder. And the ones that they did release, the Forzas and the Gears and whatnot, you know, those came out, you know, when it was too late, when the Xbox One was already like, you know, beaten.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think the problem is that Microsoft is their IPs are floundering because nobody has their console.
Yeah.
So their strategy to get their stuff on other platforms makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Lucario says, Bob, the Sonic 2 movie is about to be over 2 years old by now. How have you not seen that one yet while you see the first one on opening day? Because the second one came out right after COVID?
Yeah. More
or
or
during
less.
COVID?
It was 2 years ago.
Might have been during COVID.
Yeah. It was in 2022, so.
I saw the first Sonic movie, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then the next movie I saw was The Batman.
Yeah. Same.
And then oh no, that's not true. I saw the Barbie movie. And then I saw the Taylor Swift live thing.
When did you saw Mario in theaters, didn't you?
Oh, I also saw Mario.
Yeah.
Those are all the movies that I've seen in theaters. I haven't seen many movies.
Yeah, me neither. I tried to see Godzilla, but it wasn't, by the time I was ready to go, it wasn't playing
I
anymore.
want to see Godzilla.
I want to see it so bad.
I'll watch what do I gotta get? Paramount Plus?
I have it. It's just giving me my login. I still have to see it too.
Hannah got a free trial for the Grammys to watch Paramount Plus because of Taylor Swift.
Right.
And then it expired the day of the Super Bowl.
Oh.
But we got to watch the Super Bowl because that was on Paramount Plus, and then that night it expired. Anyway, Kodo Kestis says, when the indie trailer was revealed, it got me excited for the future of Xbox and got me thinking I might actually buy one. Looks like that won't be happening anymore.
You just wait for it to come out on PlayStation.
We need to see what happens.
We need to actually hear what the plan is.
Yeah.
Because, you could be waiting 6 months. You could be waiting a year. You could be waiting 5 years. We don't know just yet. We have to wait and see exactly what Phil says. I'm going to get this on Xbox because I want to play it immediately. So
yeah, that's I want to get as many games as I can on Steam as possible, but I have Game Pass, but I don't know what's fucking gonna happen. I don't know if the game's gonna come out 4 days before it does on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So all right, now we're in the chat.
Yes.
Hello. We're on both chats.
Yes.
So say something, make it good, and then we'll talk to you. PS has more older. PlayStation has more older stuff. Game Pass is more recent. No.
Yeah. I mean, Game Pass also has a lot of old stuff, but Game Pass is better at putting new stuff in.
Again, Game Pass puts their first party stuff day one in quotes.
Yeah.
They just don't have a lot of first party stuff is the problem.
Right. But even Pal World debuted in Game Pass.
True.
Roller Drone, when that came to Xbox, debuted in Game Pass.
Yeah.
So they're better about putting new games to their platform in Game Pass immediately. Whereas Sony, you don't really hear about games debuting on PlayStation Plus. Foam Stars right now is debuted on PlayStation Plus.
There you go. You get Foam
Big
Stars.
Blue, fucking Foam Stars.
Seth Films says, Daddy Will, can you tell us more about the 1900s growing up with Uncle Bob?
See, I'm old now. I can't remember anything now that you put me on the spot.
Dad said he said something about the turn of the century the other day. Did I say this right? He said something about the turn of the century the other day, and I had to think, does he mean the 1900s or the turn of the millennium?
Yeah.
I had to think for a second. When is Will's next guest appearance on the Nintendo podcast? Who knows?
I don't know. Take it up with the other guy.
Bob, I'm so surprised you haven't seen Sonic 2 movie. I know, man. Everybody just leave me the fuck alone. Bob, the Sonic Adventure style game you're thinking of earlier is Rollin' Rascal. Oh, yes.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
I saw you say that, and I forgot to say it out loud. But thank you. Rollin' Rascal is the other game.
That's the one I'm thinking of, yeah.
That also they both look good.
Yeah. I mean, Rollin' Rascal, specifically when I saw it, I'm like, this is all those fan-made 3D Sonic games.
Yeah. The way he runs, yeah, for sure. The other one, the Christian Whitehead one, Penny's Big Breakaway, just looks like a Sonic game.
Yeah.
So did you watch the Nickelodeon Super Bowl? I saw the clips. I would have rather watched that, but the problem is you want to watch the commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
So you want to be there with everybody else. What's Will's take on Suicide Squad Kills the Justice? He said it already.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I'm probably not going to play it at this point. I'll watch the cutscenes when I get around to it. It just doesn't look like it's any fun.
Holy Lettuce says, still need the save file for Mario RPG? I can do it. Yes, that'd be great. I would like that. A save file for where I'm at in the Switch version so that I can play it on the SNES version.
Got it.
Because I didn't like... What? So I played the Switch version.
Yes.
And I didn't like it. And now I want to play the Super Nintendo version.
Okay.
But I don't want to replay the stuff I played. So I want somebody to just give me a save file that is everything that I did, like to the T, and then just I could pick it up where I left off.
Okay.
Yeah. Because part of what I didn't like about Mario RPG on the Switch is that it is literally the Super Nintendo game, just looks like a new game.
Okay.
And the game has a lot of like old bullshit that they didn't fix or change. So I feel like I would like it better if it was just a Super Nintendo game. Got it. You know?
Okay.
Because like I'm playing a modern game, I'm expecting modern improvements.
Got
and
it.
There literally is none.
Mm-hmm.
What's a good example of that?
Of like
Metroid, the Metroid remaster.
Oh, Samus Returns.
Yeah, that's a.
Got it.
That not even that, because they don't even consider that a remake. That's a remaster.
Yeah.
I guess like Resident Evil 4, that's a remake, but it feels like a modern game, you know?
Yeah.
They fixed a lot of things. Anyway. What's Will's thoughts on the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer?
So I actually thought the Deadpool trailer looked cool.
I barely saw it.
But I was miffed because we know Wolverine's in the movie.
Yeah.
We know all the marketing surrounding Wolverine. We've seen him in the costume. Why didn't you show him in the trailer? You just show his shadow. Show us Wolverine. Like, give me the mask already.
Yeah, that's weird. I wasn't hyped on it. I didn't even look into it because I knew about it already. Yeah. Like, I've already seen pictures. So, like, what else could you give me?
We're watching at my friend's house, and my one friend was like, everyone shut up, the Deadpool trailer's on. And after my daughter got done telling him that shut up's not a nice thing to say, it was over in like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So then he had to go on his phone and watch the whole trailer like an asshole on his phone. So it's like, why even bother with that?
That's what happened. By the time I saw it was happening, I missed it.
Yeah.
Also, I wasn't like really into Deadpool 2. Deadpool 1, I liked. Because I think it was like a rated R comic book movie, and we haven't seen. Yeah, no, Deadpool breaking the fourth wall.
Deadpool
and stuff.
1 was like a breath of fresh air in a way. Deadpool 2 I liked, and I liked the actual action in it more than I did Deadpool 1. But like, it wasn't like the next like shocking thing after Deadpool 1 was. This one, you know, it's gonna be all multiversal and stuff. So
I just don't think I'm into that humor.
Deadpool is a character like you have to get right, like in a very specific way. Otherwise he's just grating.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like the first movie like hit the nail on the head. The second movie did too, but like in the wrong hands it could just be like the most annoying shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, this trailer looked good, but like who's to say if the actual movie itself will be good?
Yeah.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, though, that looks fucking awesome. I'm gonna see that movie. You all sleep on the Planet of the Apes films, but they kick so much ass.
How many Planet of the Apes movies are there?
There's a lot. If you wanted to like watch this new one, you only need to see the most recent 3, and they are the best. They're the best fucking trilogy.
Only 3.
Only 3.
The last Planet of the Apes movie I saw was the one that we saw at the Comac movie theater.
Yeah, not that one. No, the last 2 were done by the same guy who did the Batman.
Wait, what was that one? Who was that? Tim Burton?
That was Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
I forgot that. Okay.
Yeah, not that one. You want to see Rise, Dawn, and War of the Planet of the Apes. And the last 2, Dawn and War, were directed by Matt Reeves, who also did the Batman.
Oh.
And also, apparently, I learned this, he's from Long Island. So, there you go.
Let's hang out with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get him on the podcast. Okay. You guys care about the new Dune movie? I kind of want to see the last one.
The last one was very good.
I heard that it's just long.
It's long, and also
looks pretty good.
Like, it ends on a very obvious cliffhanger. So, like, the next movie's coming. But Dune is very good.
All right. I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you for hanging out, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for chatting with us. As always, the Wulff Den podcast is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Wulff Den. And also, it is on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Wulff Den podcast. But if you can't make the show for any reason at all, we always put the archive version up over on youtube.com/Wulff Den podcast, so you can go and watch it on demand whenever you want. But if you prefer to listen to us rather than watch us, you can do that as well, because we're also an audio podcast on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, Spotify, Audible.com. No matter where you get this show from, folks, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us, because that helps with the placement on all those respective platforms.
Thanks for being here. So we did a couple new things today. One of them was the backlog, which will be clipped out on the channel. I'm very sorry if your notifications are getting destroyed. Just make them click the little bell and turn it to, what did I say before?
Live.
No,
personalized.
Yeah. I think that'll make it so that the live ones will show up eventually. You could train YouTube to just give you the notifications for the ones that you actually care about. Well, again, this putting the clips up is something that we're testing. We're still figuring it out. But the backlog will be clipped out. What else do I want to say? Thank you for supporting. Thank you for being here. I'm gonna raid Jackson right now. He's streaming over on Twitch. There's a way he streams on YouTube also, and there is a way to stream to YouTube. I mean to raid on YouTube. I just don't know how to do it. Oh, the other thing we were doing is, this stream is in 1440p on YouTube. Not that the cameras are.
Right.
But hopefully it's better quality. I thought that might break something, but I think everything's working fine.
Nice. Getting more peas.
You guys deserve more peas. All right. Thanks for hanging out. See you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Go say hi to Jackson.